Hello, here's to new beginnings. Sit back, listen, and enjoy the stories. Well, the story that I'm about to tell you is not the story of a king or a demon or even God. Rather, it's a story of a commoner, a young boy, and the story of a philosophy. In fact, the star of my story is a drum. That's right, a drum. Since the dawn of civilization, every single settlement has been sustained by a story. In fact, in my story, an entire village is sustained by a story. So here it goes. Like all stories, this story too starts once upon a time, long, long time ago, so long ago, in the faraway continent of Africa, in a small village bordered by rivers and forests, there stood a drum. Now, this was no ordinary drum. There was something so special about it that it sat in the center of the village. It was the pride of the entire village. In fact, it was believed that this drum was the life force. Why? In fact, the heartbeat of the entire village. Once, this village was struck by a pandemic, and all the villagers, the young and the infant, the old and the infirm, everyone gathered around this drum, and soon the problems passed by. It is believed that people would celebrate singing and dancing, laughing and making merry around this drum, and the pulsating rhythms, the beat of the drums, could be heard far and wide. And the celebrations would go on till the wee hours of the morning, and the people would be lulled to sleep by the drum beats to a peaceful slumber. Like I said, this drum was the life force, the heartbeat of the entire village. Stories about this drum carried far and wide, traveled far and wide, and people would talk about the drum in hushed tones. Did you know that this drum is so big that you need a step ladder to climb up and giant sticks to play on the drum? Yeah. I've heard that this drum grants magic wishes. Why, I've even heard that there is magic dust on this drum. And as it is carried through the air, whoever inhales it is overcome with magic laughter. Why, I've heard that this drum grants 3 wishes to the person who can skillfully play it. Like I said, my friends, this drum was a source of happiness, and whoever had this drum stayed happy always. Now, the story about this drum traveled far and wide to the distant villages, and in one such village, there was a young boy. He had grown up listening to stories about this mysterious, magical, wonderful drum. And he longed to have the drum himself, also for his villagers. You see, the boy was sad. The entire village was miserable, and they thought happiness was a distant dream. Happiness was hard to come by in this village. Why, friends, even today, happiness is hard to come by. Now, this boy wanted to be the hero of his village. He wanted the drum for himself, so he plotted, he planned. And one day, in the middle of the night, silently he left his house, carrying with him food and water and a sack. And he left in search of this mysterious drum. He traveled for nights and days, weeks and months, over hills and mountains, forests and meadows, and finally reached the village. He knew he had come to the right place because he could hear the pulsating rhythm, the sound of the drums. He was drawn to the village, and as he entered, he saw all the people had gathered in the center of the village and were celebrating. As he drew closer, he was embraced in the warmth of the villagers. They welcomed the stranger. And when the boy saw the drum in the center of the village, he was astounded. Holy moly! Look at the drum. I thought the drum would be huge, that one needed a step ladder to climb up and use giant sticks to play on it. Why, that drum is so ordinary and so small. Easy for me to steal it, he thought. He joined in the merrymaking, and as the evening drew to a close and night fell upon, the party continued. Like I said, till the wee hours of the morning. And all the villagers went to sleep, lulled by the drum beats. When everyone had fallen into deep slumber, the young boy was still awake. He had a mission to accomplish. Slowly, without making any noise, silently he inched his way towards the village center where the drum sat. As he was about to reach out and pick up the drum, suddenly he heard somebody clearing their throat. The boy turned and he saw an old man with wise eyes. The old man was so frail, so emaciated, he had a walking stick in his hand, and the old man pretended that he had not seen the young boy and what he was about to do. And the old man called out, "Me lad, will you help me home? I have some hot soup simmering in the pot. Come, have some soup and you can spend the night." The young boy was polite enough to follow the old man to his house. He had the soup, and the old man invited the boy into his house and started telling him stories. And we know the young boy loved listening to stories. So he sat enraptured, and finally the old man told him the story about the mysterious drum. "You know, lad, I too, when I was about your age, came in search of this mysterious magical drum. I wanted to steal it and take it to my village. But the people were so kind, so loving, so patient, treated me with so much respect that I didn't want to leave them. And I realized that the drum was just a drum. There was no magic in the drum. The magic was in the people, within them. Happiness came from within. It was not from the drum. For days, no one played the drum, but everyone stayed happy. And the villagers believed on one golden rule: treat others as you would want to be treated. Believe in yourself, and happiness comes from within." When the young boy heard this story, he was so moved that he felt a change come over him. He wanted to embrace this story, and he wanted to share the golden rule, the magic mantra of this story, the drum, to his villagers. And he thanked the old man, left this village, went home, and there he made a drum himself, and on one side of the drum he inscribed, "Happiness comes from within." And he shared this story with everyone, and he told the villagers about the village oath. And they all took this village oath, which was no matter what happens, come rain or shine, make time to have some fun. And this was the village oath the old man had told him about, which brought about this transformation in the young boy. So all the villagers took this village oath. No matter what happens, come rain or shine, we'll make time to have some fun. Believe in yourself, and happiness comes from within. The boy shared this story with all the neighboring villages. And friends, don't you think it's time for us to take this oath ourselves? No matter what happens, whether it rains or shines, or there's a pandemic or a pestilence, let's make some time to have some fun. Thank you.